Okay, this is my walkthrough of Satisfactory Early Access. Build 99.133, and let's just get to it. Loading, loading, loading. Do 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 do. And good morning. We are in the map. Chat is the same, everything's the same. We have pretty much everything researched. We have a lot of materials, yada yada yada. Let's go out and look. Okay. And this is it. That is where I started. Then it became slowly this. I experimented with different building techniques. You see a whole lot of power running there, and then it became more small houses, larger factories. There we have the place where we send stuff to space, and a blue factory, yellow factory, a little pink one down there. And let's just take a look around. That's all my gold, or Caterium, anyway. Here we build heavy modular frames. It's a cute little factory. Built everything that's needed. It's kind of messy. It was probably my first indoor factory. But we should really go look at where it all started. Just the mess that is this. Conveyor belts over, under. It has actually been rebuilt once or something like that. I moved the power poles higher up so they didn't take space on the ground. Let's see how much power do we use. Quite a bit. And that, some spaghetti. But there's a reason for the spaghetti. With small factories producing stuff all around, that is pretty much where at least half of it all go. Oh, the layout. It's horrible. Let's take a trip along this. This is one of my sky bridges. We'll get back to them. And there we have it, where a copy of all materials end up. My shopping mall. The idea is that you can pretty much... You have two containers of the large ones filled with a copy of everything. Or almost everything. So if you need some screws, or yeah, let's take a screw. You can pick them up, or you can just press the container and take it. So if you need it, see, this is still filling up, but if we go up to the one above, you'll see we have a lot of motors. One of the current endgame things. So you can just, whatever you need, when you need to produce something, you can go along the shopping mall. And that is the small row. We have a big row around back. Yes, and everything is in pink, of course, because you need stuff to be in pink. Bases need to be in pink. Except when you have a little mini place where it is not pink. But anyway, I guess it's depends on how the light falls. Anyway, some of the things that they're not a conveyor belt delivering is stuff like leaves, because those have to be inserted manually for good reason, until we can make automated farms. If that ever becomes a possibility. This area here, everything is produced except two things, which end up down here initially. These two conveyor belts deliver computers. Oh, that was a lag. Happens every time the game saves, I believe. Especially when the save is this big. See, the computer gets in there, and circuit boards in here. We usually also got plastic, which is why there's a third row, but we now make that here instead. Let's see. What do we have in the purple down here? I believe that's where the quartz come in. Yes. And the quartz have a little buffer shit here, so if we ever need a lot of quartz in the future, we have some backup. And otherwise, the rest goes up to be used elsewhere, and why not go there? On many of the roofs we have handy jump pads to get around quickly. The reason you see two fuel here is that one is fuel, the other one is turbo fuel, which was added recently. And this is, I actually have no use for this. This is silica. I found a recipe, an alternate recipe for silica without having the main one. And, well, that's what it produces. That is the grey building here. That's the Silica Factory. Let's see. So we have some quartz, some limestone, and then we make a buttload of silica, which we don't do right now because we don't have any use for it, but we might in the future. Oh yeah, we can look at some of the recipes. As you see, there's quite a lot of alternate recipes, including the silica one. As you see, I don't really build the buildings the same way. I'm still experimenting with how I want my buildings. You'll see some of my other bases are quite different. This is where we build explosives and ammunition. I don't know. Who made it up here? Yeah, we have. So this gun, which was added in the latest patch. I have all the shots in the world for it. And as you see, this is one of my later factories, so it's a little bit more organized. We have one of the conveyor lifts here. Works wonders. Does take up a lot of space, these large factories, but look quite nice. And let's go over here. The yellow building. That's where my garage is. Here I experiment with having them drive back and forth. It's not as intuitive as I would like, but slowly getting it to work. And two other vehicles. That vehicle usually stands in this spot. And the grey building. The grey building is power from oil mainly, and plastic, everything made from oil really. Rubber. this has all been converted into using... oh yeah, there's a bug with the text not showing. Anyways, it's turbo fuel. That's why it's such a mess down here when I had to convert it. That became this glorious mess with all the old fuel going in and turbo fuel going back out and up here. Yeah, lag. I am running this on the highest settings. What needs to be added to the fuel is compacted coal, which also drives some of my coal power stations. Oh yeah, that's right, we have it. Down there we're just making some cover thread, and the yellow one is just a power station. And that is pretty much this base. As you can see, the turbo fuel doesn't really need that much. Oh yeah, we haven't been to the green building. The green building makes supercomputers, AI limiters, and cadmium wire. And to make all the conveyor belts, I made this extra building with sole purposes to build encased industrial beams. It's quite fun to make these little compact buildings. And now we are going back up to the hub. So many conveyor belts. Anyways, let's go to the first base I built after this. If you look at the map, this is the main base. Then I moved over to the oil fields over here, which I call Oil City. Then I began exploring the entire middle of the map, made a base up here in the northern hideout. Then I made a proper northern base up here, north base. And then I have a little limestone production there, just to be able to explore this area. Anyways, let's get over there. All my sky bridges pretty much work as a transportation system as well. For me as well as for the materials. Here we have a little coal factory running on compacted coal. Sulfur Mine. Before I made the sky bridges, I have actually made like a whole little labyrinth of a road with power wires all through the jungle. Now everything pretty much just runs through sky bridges with a tiny walkways down to wherever I find stuff. Might as well just take a detour. Surrounded on the map, I have filled up all the spots with steam vents for steam power. They are somewhat buggy yet. Like if you press on them, you can't really see anything, but they produce like 300, 400, so that's fine. Let's see if we can get back to the sky bridge. I mean, the cars are very handy, but just jetpacking around with the help of conveyor belts seems like the most convenient. Not pretty, but convenient. And down there we have Oil City. We first discovered oil, and we began making supercomputers and computer chips. The oil fields are in the back. Transported all down, and then I made a huge base on this huge lake. Let's get down there. It had a proper layout in the beginning, but then I added more and more, and it became quite compact. This is where I first began using the stackable conveyor poles, because simply needed when your bases get larger. And it's a pain in the butt to remove made a mistake. Much better. My OCD likes that. So here we are. Supercomputers being made there, run back along with the computer chips. Quite like it, the little lake base here. Oh, that's actually an older conveyor belt. Nifty. Anyways, let's go to the northern base. As you can see, it's quite a long way. Oh, whoops. We might as well extend it a little bit. Everything outside the base is up purple, of course. Color of men. As you see, the conveyor belts are not finished here. I usually just build a little bit every time I travel. And I mean, if I don't have to transport resources, if I have to transport resources, of course I'll finish them. There might be, in the future patches, something exotic all the way up north that I need to transport south, and then I'll just take one of my sky bridges, and then the conveyor belts are already there. All the power running in all the bases are connected, so no matter where I am, I can stop and see how much power I'm using. If you think the game is not running well, that is not true. It's running okay. I mean, there will still be more optimization until the game is released. Also, we are traveling quite fast. Has a lot of things to load. My latest project, because I have pretty much done everything, is just walking around collecting stuff and building radar towers to reveal the entire map. Still some ways to go. Should probably apply some of them higher. Okay, pillars. This is the latest little outpost, if you can say it like that. All the way up north in the desert. another steam vent. Oh yeah, down there you can see a little limestone producer if I ever need to build more sky bridges. Oh fuck, I built that in the wrong direction. I'm gonna hate myself for that. Much better. My latest radar tower is up there. The height really makes a difference. When you travel like this, the map actually seems rather small, but when you walk down there, it's giant. Now we're actually up there where my sky bridges are not all connected in the most beautiful way. They all like fan out from the main base. But let's just make this so we can get some more speed. In the future, that's how all the walkways get built, little by little. And let's just take the Blade Runners on. Such a beautiful game. Oop. Falling down would not be good. You need to build a walkway across here at some point. But right now, this is what I have. Quite the cool reload animation. So yeah, now we've been up to the north where there's not a lot there yet. I figure they might add more. It's actually a nice place for an alternate starting base if you don't mind like a more open area. I have tried to like not build just giant bases in the middle of the sky. I mean, this is already testing my patience and what gravity can take, but I'm just pretending to myself that it's some kind of space age material that's very light and very rigid. Anyhow, that is the northern base. It doesn't produce a lot. It only produces duplicates of what the main base produces, but it produces everything, or pretty much everything needed to make the sky bridges and conveyor belts and everything. Nice little base. And let's get back to the sky bridge and get back to the northern hideout. The one I actually like the most. Building style. I figure in the future when I play on another map, that's probably the style I'm gonna go for, but we can talk more about that when we get there. A little depot of concrete. Let's move on. So we need to get there. So it's pretty much should be straightforward. Guess I lost some speed there. I really like that area. It's peaceful. Would be a nice place if you could build something other than factories, or like more stealthy factories that blended in with nature. I kind of like building those instead of those giant mega factories that can produce 5,000 supercomputers a minute. Although those are really pleasing if you like efficiency, and if Satisfactory is about anything, it's efficiency. No matter where you go, you can orient yourself with a space elevator. Here we have another point where you can stagger up on concrete, but let's go down to the base. The northern hideout is literally just a couple of buildings, some steam vents down there, but like built into the mountainside, so it doesn't interrupt that much nature in the bottom. Here we have more encased industrial beams in case we need. Might as well fill up. It's not the most elegant sky bridges and the bridges up to here, but it was built before the conveyor lifts were there. Might have been able to make a more elegant solution, which will be handy when I do another map. So that's the orange base, and here we have the blue one in the northern hideout. Looks kind of like a concert hall. So, nice waterfall. So nice location for a base with a nice view. Lots of materials down there actually. Now, if there's one place we kind of want to go, it's down through one of the other sky bridges. Might as well take the two last ones and then end the video. For that we have to go up again. Kind of wish the conveyor lifts could take people as well. At one point I tried to have like the power poles to the side, but a conveyor belt in each direction and a power pole in the middle seems just like a pretty efficient solution. Now, there's not much to do in the Red Forest, although it is pretty nice looking. I was very excited when I got there first time, and then there's not really any materials or anything. Which is why there's the conveyor belt system is not finished. But if we ever need to, like, let's build quite a lot of it, so it should not take that long to finish. Now this is probably the furthest sky bridge. The highest one and the furthest one. There's the same node I haven't tapped yet. There's one down at the base that fills a container up with same ore whenever we get to use that. Oh. Let's just get a little bit of speed. Down there we have some coal fields. Can never get too much coal. Another sulfur mine. So as you see, the sky bridges are like built to be able to put several belts. I don't like using the smart splitters or just the smart splitters to like put several different things on one conveyor belt, because if you don't need exactly the same amount of the right amount of the materials on the conveyor belt, you run into a situation where like one of the materials can bottleneck the other and then nothing gets made. That is a nice view. The oil fields base down there, new oil here, and oh yeah, conveyor belts in the wrong direction here, because why make it the same every time? This playthrough has been it's just mostly about experimenting with different build techniques. Explore the game, see what you can do. Along the western coast, there's a rather large sky bridge. Another cement point. Out in this area we have a lot of oil fields. You can see them out here, and you can see that here, and that pretty much covers up my base in Satisfactory so far. I know this has not been the most well-produced video, but I hope you like it anyway. Might as well end it with a nice view on the beach. Yep, that's it for me. See you next time.